I'm going to do a review of the Dick Van Dyke Show. That can be very long because it's a sitcom. There's not really a lot to say, but I loved it a lot. I love Dick Van Dyke. He's one of my all-time favorite people on the planet. But like, I realized I'd only seen Mary Poppins and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I haven't really seen him in like anything else except for like guest spots on TV shows. But like the Dick Van Dyke Show was the first time I got to see like his comedic abilities, and he is so funny. He was so funny on the show. Like I laughed so hard during the show. It was so good. The writing is brilliant. The chemistry between everyone was great. Like it was just like perfectly written, perfectly cast and acted, and just like great. Mary Tyler Moore. I've seen the Mary Tyler Moore show, and I loved that show. And when she did this show, she wasn't like unknown. She just wasn't like the big name, a big name yet, a big name as she became. Um, and funnily enough, she's the last cast member, like the last build on in the cast, like in the credits, even after the actor who played their child, like she's after him. So, like that is how like she wasn't how new she still kind of was to the business, and I find that so interesting. Um, But there's like two actors, Rosemary and Maury Amsterdam, and they were best friends. They knew each other for years before they did the show. They were like, I don't really think childhood friends because Maury was 15 years older than her, but like they met when she was 11 and he was obviously older than her. Um, Doing a play, but yeah. So yeah, so they were like childhood friends, but they were still friends. Um, Probably not to like a big extent because of the age difference, but I'm like they were like friends, and Rosemary got him not she didn't get him the job. She did not get him the job. She recommended him for it, and then he auditioned and he got the part. Um, and I like the first few episodes of season one, I actually shipped Sally and Buddy, but then like after a while I didn't anymore because I was like they just seem like best friends, brother and sister. Like they were too close, you know, to like have anything romantic between them. But their chemistry was great, and they're one of my all time like my new favorite like TV duos now. Like amazing, and I really wish people would talk about them more because I feel like they are just really under rated. No one like I think underappreciated as a comedy duo because like again they were like their chemistry was great, and there's a lot of like sweet moments between them as well, like very subtly. Like there was an episode where she has a headache and like Buddy rubs her head for her, and it was just like the temples of her head for her, and just like yeah. So like their friendship was sweet, and I loved it so much. Um, and they remained friends until Maury died in 1996, and they did some guest appearances on a guest appearance on a TV show together. Like they were just later years, like they were just like again they were best friends, and it shows. The actor who played Richie, the little boy, was so annoying. Like I couldn't. He was too much for me. Like I couldn't handle him. Jerry, I wasn't a huge fan of Jerry. I didn't really wasn't really a huge fan of Millie, and that makes me sad because I watch a lot. I've seen a lot of classic TV, and I don't think I've ever watched. I mean, Dallas's classic TV, and there's a lot of characters I didn't like on that show. But like, I mean, like comedy wise, I guess. I haven't seen a classic TV sitcom where I didn't like all the characters in the show. Um, so this was a kind of a unique thing, but I did love. I thought that Jerry and Millie, and Dick and Rob and Laura, they had great chemistry as friends. I just didn't like Jerry and Millie as characters too much. Um, but yeah, again, the chemistry was great. I get, and then I also I keep saying it's one of the funniest shows I've ever seen. Um, I'm not one to laugh out loud too much, but this show, I was like crying because I was laughing so hard. It's just again brilliant. And the other thing I wanted to say about it is that I think it. I don't know if it gets a lot of praise for how progressive it was, because it was, and there's a lot of like breaking down masculinity in this show and like poking fun at toxic masculinity, and like because Rob isn't like, I always think of like I Love Lucy, like Desiree Inez. He was like the head of the house, and he was serious, and he was put together, and he was the one that kept was like keeping order in him and Lucy's life always. And then Dick Van Dyke, he was like a bumbling, clumsy guy. And for the most part, Laura was kind of like the leader in that family. Like a lot of the times, she would be giving him advice and how to deal with stuff, and he would listen to her. And a lot of times, she was right. And I appreciated how he listened to her and how he took her opinions and her thoughts into account before he did anything. Um, and the same with her. Like I like that how they would just always talk about everything, and like any decision that she was gonna make or he was gonna make, they talked it through. And I always loved how before they had like something they were gonna try to do, they'd be like, okay, like, how are you gonna deal with it? Like what are you gonna say? What are you gonna do? Talk me through what you're gonna say. Talk me through what you're gonna do before you say it, before you do it. And I just love that because it's just like a lot. It just shows so how much they loved and respected each other and supported each other. Where they were like, I want to make sure that you say what you need to say in the right way, in the appropriate way, so you get your point across and you get what you want or whatever it is, whatever it was. And I loved it. And again, I love that again. Like Rob wasn't overly like masculine, you know? He was very sensitive. He was clumsy. He did things, he was wrong a lot of the time. He could admit he was wrong. He wasn't controlling. He wasn't like overbearing. He respected Laura. He respected her voice and her she was independent, very independent, and he respected that. And they respected each other's and like personal opinions, and like they fought, of course, they argued sometimes, but they were just like, I think to me they're like the ideal couple on TV. Like they were best friends. Again, they listened to each other, they helped each other, they supported each other's dreams and what they wanted. They were honest with each other, like, and it was very progressive. It's a very progressive relationship, especially for that time. And then you have Sally, who I don't think gets enough credit for what kind of character she was, and how she was single, and how she was smart, and how she was strong, and how she was tough, and how she knew like anything. Like she knew about cars, she knew about motorcycles, she knew about like man, I hate it. I hate saying it, but like at the time, like she knew about things that were typically like for males, whatever, you know. But and I just, she was opinionated. She was respected as a woman, as a writer for a comedy show. She was the only woman, and there was only three writers, but she was respected as a writer. She was respected as a person. She was seen as an equal with Rob and Buddy. Nobody, they never once made her out to be like too emotional or too opinionated. Like her thoughts and opinions were so important, and people respected her and listened to her. And I, I think, I don't think, and I think that she deserves just as much credit for the way that women, the writing of women have changed, or because Mary Tyler Moore gets a lot of credit because she deserves it. But Sally, or Rosemary as Sally, she, I think, changed TV a lot. Just the way that she played Sally and how Sally was. Like I think Sally changed a lot about the woman roles on TV. And I read that Rosemary, someone said that Rosemary is the most like giving, one of the most giving performers in Hollywood. Like she would help people out, and I just, again, Sally, I think I was my favorite character on the show just because again she was so strong. She was so like, she was kind of inspirational, especially again for the time period that this show was filmed. She was very strong. She was very strong willed and opinionated, and again she just held her own always. And it was just, she's a she's a star. She's a gem, and I love her. Um, so yeah, I think I said everything I wanted to say. I'm watching Taxi right now, and I'm a little upset because there are episodes missing, and it's not just like a few or a couple. It's a lot. It's a lot of episodes missing. I'm gonna continue watching it because I'm loving it for already, but it makes me sad. Like I don't know why they put up shows and only like those episodes are missing. If you're gonna have the series on streaming, put the whole thing or nothing at all. That's what I think. Um, but yeah, anyway, that is all